Total mass of all substances is conserved in any chemical reaction. Like we said, that must mean the atoms that go in must come out, so we must balance equations to that end. We already know about relative atomic mass, but if it's a compound, we can add these up to give the relative formula mass. We just add up the individual rams, so CO2 is 12 plus 2 lots of 16, so that's 44. Some reactions produce a gas product, which, if it leaves the reaction vessel, will result in an apparent decrease in mass. A mole is just a specific number of atoms or molecules. A dozen is 12, a score is 20, a mole is 6.02 times 10 to the 23. This is called Avogadro's constant. You might need to know the number, but we don't really do any calculations with it at GCSE. Grouping particles into moles is just helpful when it comes to comparing amounts of substances, as we can't deal in individual atoms or molecules. If you have as many grams of a substance as its relative atomic mass or formula mass, you have 1 mole. So 1 mole of carbon has a mass of 12 grams. That means we calculate the number of moles of something we have like this. Moles equals grams over rams, where rams is short for relative atomic mass, but it could also be formula mass. This equation is worth remembering. Let's take our methane combustion reaction again. Like we said, in order to balance this, we'd need 2 oxygen molecules per 1 molecule of methane. This is also true for moles then too. We'd need double the moles of oxygen to methane. So here's how a question could go. How many grams of water would be made if 64 grams of methane reacted completely with oxygen? We need to get from the mass of one thing to the mass of another, so we use moles as the middleman. The process goes like this: mass, moles, moles, mass. We switch from one substance to the other at the halfway mark. So a mass of 64 grams of methane. How many moles is that? Well, moles equals grams over rams, so that's 64 divided by 16. That's 4 moles of methane. But look, there's no number in front of the methane, but there is a 2 in front of the water, which means that we must have double the moles of water. So it's not 4 moles of water that are made, but 8 moles. By the way, we can say that the stoichiometry is 1 to 2. This just means the ratio of moles of one substance to another in a reaction. So what we have to do then is turn this number of moles back into mass using our equation by rearranging it. Put it into a triangle if you have to and cover up mass. We have grams equals moles times rams. So that's 8 moles times water's ram of 18. That's 16 plus 2 lots of 1. That's 144 grams of water made. You could also be given the mass in kilograms or even tons. The great thing is that because this is all relative, we could just put those masses into our equation instead of grams, and so long as you stick with that unit for the whole question, you'll still end up with the right answer at the end. We can also use moles to predict how much of a reactant we would need in a reaction. As you can see, we need 2 moles of oxygen to every 1 mole of methane. If we had that 1 mole of methane but only 1 mole of oxygen, well, that means that not all of the methane would react. Some would be left behind. We say that the oxygen is the limiting reactant in this case. We could also put it the other way around. We could say that the methane is in excess. The concentration of solutions can be given in grams per decimeter cubed, where a decimeter cubed is 1000 centimeter cubed. But it's often useful to convert grams per decimeter cubed into moles per decimeter cubed instead. If 1 mole of HCl is dissolved in 1 decimeter cubed of water, we've made hydrochloric acid that has a concentration of 1 mole per decimeter cubed. Sometimes you might see this as just 1 molar, 1 capital M. Same thing, that's what that means. In a lot of reactions, we want to make as much product as possible. More often than not, though, there will be some reactants left behind at the end. Percentage yield merely tells us how much product we've actually made compared to how much we could have made in theory, had all the reactants been used up. For example, if you start with 20 grams of reactants here but only end up with 10 grams of ammonia being made, the percentage yield is 50%. Percentage yield is about what's happening in reality, so you can't predict what the yield would be from just the chemical equation. Atom economy, on the other hand, tells you how much of a desired product you get out of a reaction compared to the mass of the reactants that went in. You use relative atomic or formula masses to calculate this. You can think of atom economy as being like efficiency in a reaction. We calculate it like this: the RAM of desired product divided by the total RAM of reactants going in, which is actually the same as the total RAM of the product too, so there's a shortcut, times by 100. Sometimes we react methane with oxygen in greenhouses to make carbon dioxide for the plants. It's an incredibly important gas necessary for life to thrive, you see. The RAM of the desired CO2 is 44, so that goes on top of our equation. Now we could add up the RAM of all the reactants, but like we said, using our shortcut, let's just go for the RAM of all the products instead. We've already got 44, so we might as well use that. And then we add on 2 lots of 18 for the water. So that's 44 divided by the total of 80 times by 100. That gives us 55%. In other words, 55% of the products made by mass is going to be useful to us. 1 mole of any gas takes up a volume of 24 decimeter cubed, regardless of its relative mass. This is true for RTP, room temperature and pressure. That's 20 degrees Celsius and a pressure of 1 atmosphere. You must be able to convert moles to volume and back by multiplying or dividing by 24. So I hope you found that helpful. Leave a like and a comment if you did. Click on the card to take you to the playlist for all of the papers. And don't forget to check out the Science Shorts app to help you test your knowledge.